Which brings me to sustainability. What about the trade-off between, okay, would the gain from building a HSR outweigh the cost of building it? Because we are investing quite a sum of money into the construction of this project. I think it's one of the biggest projects Malaysia has actually gone into in the history of the entire country. So would the trade-off of the ease of movement of labor be worth it? What about in Japan? Do we have any specific examples?
Normally we have three scenarios. The first scenario is without, HSR. The scenario 2 is with a high-speed rail. The scenario 3 is with high-speed rail plus policy. So this is very important. So when you're talking about scenario number 2, it means with high-speed rail in the organic development. It means just build a high-speed rail. But the point is, how can we introduce the scenario 3, which is with high-speed rail and some policy? So this is the point. So I'm very happy to share with you. The Japanese Shinkansen has contributed 0.3% of the total GDP since 1957 to 2000. Can you imagine how huge the impact for the total economic development? So this is the Japanese case.
Something to add to that. Even the cost of building it is very high, but in long run, right, there can be cases in all other countries who has implemented this, has successfully proven that it will bring positive impact to the GDP growth, right? So in this case, in my opinion here is, it will benefit Malaysia a lot more rather than Singapore, because even though we have a bigger population of 30 million, but if you look at the entire population of us, right, the top 20 high income earner, right, they have been already traveling to Singapore very frequently, right? And I don't see how even with this new project implementation, this high-speed rail, right, our Malaysian, the mid-40 and the B40 will be able to travel to Singapore, because the Sing dollar is just too strong for Malaysian to shop in Singapore. But whereas on the other side of the causeway, right, the Singaporean has been traveling a lot to Malaysia. Even their middle income earner, they come to Malaysia a lot, right? But they don't necessarily go as far as until Kuala Lumpur, because there are many factors involved. Because most Singaporean, either they take a public transport, they cross over and come to Johor Bahru, or they drive. From statistics shows that the furthest they have driven, right, is to Malacca. Right, because this is to their own comfort and maybe the time that they have. But with implementation of this high-speed rail, right, I personally foresee that a lot more, you're going to encourage a lot more Singaporeans travel all the way to Kuala Lumpur.
So you'd say the Singaporean tourists would contribute a huge amount because of their...
That's for sure.
Yeah, because the value of their currency.
Yeah, they are already coming to Malaysia to spend, right? If you are a Singaporean, if I were Singaporean, I would do so, right? Because it makes a lot of sense, right? The ringgit is just so, when you convert your Sing dollar coming to Malaysia, let's say they always say that everything is so cheap in Malaysia.
I think we've talked a lot about the economics already. What about the technology that it takes to develop a project of this magnitude? For example, I think Japan recently broke the Guinness World Record of 600 kilometers an hour in one of those trains. Can you talk to me a little bit about that specific train?
Okay, regarding the Shinkansen, we have, share with you how wonderful Shinkansen is. One is safety. So over the last 52 years, there's no any accident inside the Shinkansen. No one. And then for safety and the comfortability and speedy. So this is our concept. And then regarding the technology, we are very looking for the capacity buildings. We are not only explore the Shinkansen system to oversee. We also train the people on the ground how to run the Shinkansen properly. So this is our characteristics. This is our strength.
Okay guys, thank you so much for being here with us today. And do you guys have any closing statements to add before we end the interview?
One of the very important concept is total life cycle cost. It's not only the initial cost, but also the running cost for every year. So from this point of view, I think the Japanese Shinkansen have a very strong, cost effective, if we based on this kind of, total lifestyle cost concept. The second point is Japanese Shinkansen is more on the, capacity building oriented. So because the high speed is run for the people who are living here. So this is two main points which I would like to share with you. Thank you.
How I see this can further actually bring benefits to the SME here is whoever SME who are doing export in terms of products, right? So they know how to export their goods. There's no issue, right? So but now with this high-speed rail, right, I personally foresee that it gives opportunity to the SME in the service sector, right? So we're going to export a lot more service, such as like, you see, if it's so convenient for us to travel between the two cities in like 90 minutes, right? A Singaporean company, they can even send their employee to KL to attend training classes, right? So it makes a lot of sense for this now the service sector SMEs to benefit from this particular project. So it has to be implemented as soon as possible. It will bring huge economic impact, and I foresee that, especially the SMEs.
Okay. I think that's it. I hope the audience has more of an in-depth opinion on the Malaysian HSR, and thank you for tuning in.